Let's rank some Sam Houston quarterbacks. I think I finally got this thing working. We're just a couple of seconds behind. That is okay. We're working through it. We're making it happen. Get in here. Sound off right now. The Bearkat Bite podcast is live. Let's see here. Let's see what we've got here. Bear with me, friends. Bear with me as we get everything loaded in. Welcome in. We're going to rank some quarterbacks today. I am your host, Fobbs. This is Bearkat Bites, the only independent media outlet covering Sam Houston football year around. That means times like right now when people tend to move far and far away from football. It's time to get into some of that baseball or get mad at some of that Sam Houston baseball, huh? Around the time people are doing that, we are talking about and celebrating the prospect of what could be a fairly decent season for Sam Houston football. But we will see. We're going to talk about a big thing today about the quarterbacks. And you can go down into, as I post this, bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me, guys. We're just typing in, letting some folks know we're here. All righty. Let's go ahead and throw that in there. If some of you guys are there with Cat fans, feel free to go ahead and share. There we go. There we go. I think we posted everywhere. Cat fans posting there is a little more intricate, but we did post there to the Twitterverse. You can follow us right there. And make sure you buy us a Cat's coffee, man. We're still cranking out some good stuff. Go ahead and buy us a Cat's coffee. Let me make sure if I can get my dang notes here. Let me make sure I can go ahead and get my dang notes here. We're going to rank some Sam Houston quarterbacks. First of all, thank you to those who have bought us a spiked Cat's coffee. Thank you to those who have become a yearly subscriber at the $50 level. You can do that at the links below. If you become a subscriber at the $50 level, we've got a gift or two for you throughout the year. So go ahead and send that our way, and that takes care of travel. You all want us to go and talk about Phil Longo going to play Texas Tech, the ancestral, longtime, legendary home of his mentor, Mike Leach. If you want us to be there, we got to get the money to do it. You all help us do it. You all are helping us. You all got us out to Oregon last year. So anybody who's sitting there going, really, the money? Yeah, it's happened. It's happened once, and it's happening again. It's already happening. Thank you, guys. That's what I want to talk about first. Now I want to talk about CUSA quarterbacks. I want to talk about some CUSA quarterbacks. Can I talk to you about them? Rank them. That's what I got for you today. Rank them. Rank them. Rank the CUSA quarterbacks. And we talk about this in the newsletter for next week as well, for tomorrow as well. So if you're somebody that missed it, we're going to talk about it in the newsletter as well. We'll go a little bit deeper. Rank the quarterbacks. What did I think of what some of these quarterbacks are? Well, there's only one guy who's been there more than 3 seasons. That's going to be Nick Minicucci at Delaware. Okay, that's going to be the one guy. Okay, you've got, and I'll just run down some of them. You got Nick Minicucci at Delaware, J.J. Cole at FIU, Caden Creel, Jacksonville State. Mostad, Skylar Locklear, Middle Tennessee, Roman Gagliano, Ricky Collins, Kennesaw State, Brock Glenn, Western Kentucky, Trey Hedden, New Mexico State, Ethan Vasco, Liberty, and Landon Locke, Sam Houston. Now, this is based on a list that we received. We go a little bit deeper into this in the newsletter, so it's using only the names that this post had. Now, one of our followers, General Sam, shared this with me from the Twitterverse. It was a list of those names. They had them ranked. I will repost it. No. For you to see it, go ahead and click on the newsletter tomorrow. All right. to see their full list, but we're just using names that are a part of that list. But the whole point of this is I am going to rank the quarterbacks. I am going to rank the quarterbacks in Conference USA. Where? How do I feel about them? What do you all think? Where is Landon Locke? Where is he? How long are you going to have to listen to my annoying voice until I say the name Landon Locke has made the list? Do some of you all think I'm going to do a head fake and add DJ Bailey? No, remember, it's just the names that they gave us. It's just the names that they gave us, okay? That is what we're working from. That is what we are working from. I asked a couple of questions when I ranked these. I asked myself a couple of questions as well. This is the Bearkat 5. This is kind of what I use when I'm evaluating these quarterbacks. We're going to talk about it tomorrow in the newsletter as well, if you forget anything that I say. Question 1, how did they look in 2025 in the opportunities that they were given? How did they look in the 2025 opportunities that they received last year? If they were hurt, kind of, well, what was the year before that? That kind of helps. What was their completion percentage? Was it north of 60%? I can win with the quarterback that's hitting 60% or up. Anything below that, and we're getting dicey. And if it's below 50% or trending towards 50, whoo, you a wild boy. Did they have a low interception rate? How did that look compared to touchdowns? If there were low passing numbers, were they able to run for first downs and scores? The Michael Vick effect. Michael Vick's never going to lead the league in passing, but he's going to get things done with his feet. Same thing with Cam Newton, guys like that. Lamar Jackson, we can go down the list. Based on the numbers, how does myself as an observer feel about them going forward? Based on the numbers, based on the situation, what do you all think? My first quarterback, J.J. Cole, FIU. J.J. Cole's the first quarterback that I have on this list. Why do I have J.J. Cole? Well, he played pretty well. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. He played pretty well at App State when he was coming back from an injury. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty okay. I didn't think that there was anything bad about his form. He's got he had 12 touchdowns, one rushing touchdown, just a pair of interceptions. He came back in October. When a guy like that can come back in October, that's pretty dang good. That's pretty dang good. I'm really looking at that. That's got to make you feel good, right? So right now, I'm taking J.J. Cole as number 1. What do you all think? The App State transfer is going to come in there for FIU. And FIU's got a pretty good defense as well. FIU's got a pretty good defense also. Next, and just really largely a function of him being so consistent, I got to go with Nick Minacucci. I got to go with him out of Delaware. He's the only one who's been a starter the entire time. Not the entire time, but he's the only starter coming back that's been with this program for 3 or more years. So I kind of I kind of think that you got to go with him, right? Kind of think that you got to go with Nick Minacucci there. Let's see. Let's make sure you got that. Let's see. Just trying to make sure all the stuff is there clear for you. And we'll talk about why his numbers were pretty good, actually. He threw for 23 touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns, north of 60% completion percentage. Same thing with J.J. Cole at FIU. The FIU team I'm so excited about, this guy, he beat that FIU team that I was so excited about. So that really helps, I think. That really, really helps when you're trying to come back and vie for the top spot in the conference. Number 3 is a little bit interesting. I got to get you all thoughts on number 3. Roman Gagliano at Middle Tennessee now. He whipped Sam Houston pretty good. To Gagliano. If the Blue Raiders can finally put an offensive line around him, their quarterback, they'll be pretty good. He threw for over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns in just 5 games. True freshman. And he's going to come back. And if he comes back and they've got a decent offensive line finally, then, he can be a big ticket quarterback. When was the last big ticket quarterback who was the last big ticket quarterback that Conference USA had? Who was the last big ticket quarterback that Conference USA had? Can you tell me? I don't know. I don't know who the hell it is. I don't know. And so now after that, you got 4 through 8. You're kind of trying to see what happens. Ricky Collins out of LSU and by way of Syracuse. Now, when Syracuse had some injuries last year, he was one of the quarterbacks that ended up starting. Nothing really to write home about. Just not great numbers. Like, But I put him at the top because, what was the roster that Jerry Mack had when he got to KSU last year? Kind of the same thing. He's known for taking and winning a conference in his first year. That warrants you something. That says something to you being able to develop people. That says something to you being able to develop these quarterbacks and make something special happen. So you definitely got to go with kind of the upside there. He's a big body who is now going to be expected to start, so that makes it kind of interesting. So there's that. Kind of like Ricky Collins. What do you all think? Then we got Brock Glenn. Brock Glenn looks like a quarterback, looks good getting off the bus and all that stuff. Western Kentucky, now their offensive coordinator, Rick Bowie, left last year. Maverick McIver is gone. In comes Brock Glenn, who did not play a lot at Florida State. 3 years there, didn't do much. Did not do much. 6'7" touchdown to interception ratio. Yep, I'll say it again to annoy your kids if you're listening with them in the back. 6'7", annoy your parents, kids. 6'7". But that was Brock Glenn. That just equals What does it mean? What does Brock Glenn mean to Western Kentucky, a team that has Middle Tennessee's offensive coordinator that was cast away? What does that mean? Wait, no, I'm sorry. Not there. They've got a new offensive coordinator. It's not him. I'm sorry about that. Who did they have here? For Brock Glenn. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, Bodie Reeder. Yeah, Bodie Reeder. The guy that was fired from Middle Tennessee. He's his offensive coordinator. So we'll see what happens with that with Tyson Hilton in Western Kentucky. Then you got Caden Creel. Yeah. These next two, you can kind of alternate and oscillate. Caden Creel, he's been there with Jacksonville State, Jack State last year. That guy's gonna come after me that was at the game that got mad at the people calling him Jackson State. But they're gonna be there. He runs the ball okay, he passes okay. Jack State is more of a function of their defense and their running game. Now, I do question what's their running game going to look like because Cam Coleman is gone, who had such a dominating year after coming over from TCU last year. He is no longer in the conference. He is no longer a part of the Jack State Gamecocks. So what is that going to mean for them going forward, right? And then we've got then comes Landon Locke. And you guys can jump on in. There's Landon Locke, you guys. Hey, guys. There's Landon Locke. There's your pal. I place him at the lower end. Why? Why do I place him at the lower end? Because 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's not good. Just over 50% completion rate. That shows a lack of understanding of the offense. That shows a lot of other deficiencies and problems. But Phil Longo is a quarterback whisperer. He knows how to get these guys feeling good and have them busting out of the gate. So he's done it with Drake May, did it with Sam Howell. So that's what kind of puts him in the pantheon of these other guys who could vie for that upper echelon of Conference USA quarterbacks. But out of those guys, he's got the worst numbers. So we're going to put him at the bottom. And spring ball reviews have not been sterling. Longo has tried to say, they're only running about 8 plays at the spring game, different things like that, and how different he is from DJ Bailey. All of that will be decided. again, we're evaluating this name here versus these other names. This name versus those other names. This is about where he should be. Now, again, 4 through 8, those rankings are, they could finish any kind of way, and I wouldn't be surprised, right? They were kind of getting like the last guy at the back end, Ethan Vasco. Ethan Vasco at Liberty. I'm not a big Ethan Vasco guy. I'm not a big Ethan Vasco guy. You know, he's the type of guy that could cost Jamie Chadwell his job. He's the type of guy that could cost Jamie Chadwell his job. I don't think he did anything special. 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 53.6 completion rate. That makes no sense. What the hell? You're really going to try to go into a prove-it year for Liberty with that? Woo! You a wild boy. You a wild boy going into that, going into Liberty prove-it season with that. You a wild boy. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could do it. And then you get into just kind of the bottom ones. Some of you all will have fun with this one. Skylar Locklear. Good. He was at UTEP. Good. Yeah, he beat Sam Houston. Good. Yeah. Some of you guys are like laughing at these UTEP guys, and they're still beating Sam Houston, right? And now Sam Houston won't have a chance to avenge them because they're not in the conference anymore. They're on to the greener or more desert pastures of the Mountain West. Shout out to them. Shout out to Scotty Walden, who is born 6 days after me. No, I believe 9. I think he's November 12th. I'm November 3rd. I think he's born exactly 9 days after me. So shout out to Walden as they make it into the Mountain West. But you know, given the fact that Sam Houston was the only FBS team that Skylar Locklear beat, that's bad news for Sam Houston and for Missouri State. They're going into this with a brand new coach, 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions last year, 55.5% completion rate. Even if you up that a little bit, that might mean more interceptions. I just don't think with a new coach that's going to be good. Now, here's what you don't know. Skylar Locklear, when he came over from UTEP, he came over from Scotty Walden when he was at Austin Peay. They came over together. So now Skylar Locklear is out on his own. He's out on his own. He doesn't have super positive energy of Scotty Walden anymore. He doesn't have that. How's that going to look? You know, so I don't think that's going to be any good. And then you got this guy, Trey Hedden. Trey Hedden from New Mexico State. Now, did some research on him. 68.7% completion rate at Furman, at FCS Furman. But the problem is he's the lone former FCS guy, so that's not really a problem. But 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, that's not something that I would write home about either. You know, yeah, he's got a nice completion rate, but look at those interceptions. Goodness. And, you know, you're going into Sam Houston secondary is going to be vastly improved. You're going to a lot of these. You got to go to FIU, I believe. I haven't seen New Mexico State schedule, but if they got to go to FIU, that's going to be a great secondary. I don't really know how that's going to work on this level. So it's kind of where I think. What do you all think? I've got Landon Locke number 7. I've got Landon Locke ranked number 7. Again, he's a part of that class that could finish anywhere from 7 or 8 up to 4, maybe even 3. You know what I'm saying? But I'd say 7 and 8 up to 4. He can finish about 4, I think. He can finish about 4, you know, if he hits the upside. How about that? That is my cold hard facts about where Sam Houston is. Overall, like I said, a lot of these guys, pretty interesting quarterback class. Not the worst crop. Last year's was pretty bad. Last year's crop of Conference USA quarterbacks I thought was pretty bad. You know, Liberty was terrible. Logan Fife was nothing special at New Mexico State. Nicholas Vadiato, well, he got replaced by the guy that's number 3 on our list, Roman Gagliano. Lots of Italian names there in Middle Tennessee. Caden Creel, he was never anything special at Jack State. Not bad. Now, there's a difference. Not being special and then bad. I think Trey Hedden and Skylar Locklear have a chance to be bad. Caden Creel at Jack State, you know, just nothing special. You can win with that. He's a 3-and-D glue guy. You can win with that. They have won with that type of play. So, you know, but if you're asking me to rank these guys, you know, I don't think so. Like I said, J.J. Cole, I think, is stepping into the best situation. It's year 2 of Willie Simmons. He just got, the things that made him special there at App State. He just kind of needs to bring that. Conference USA, stay healthy. Reports are that they're rocking and rolling already with him. So I would have him as the best. I would have him as the best right now. So what do you all think of my list? What do you guys think? Ricky Collins, I think that's the one I said was most interested. No, I'm most interested in Middle Tennessee's. I'm most interested in Godoliano. That's what I'm most interested in, because you got a freshman that was throwing for 400 yards, 400 yards in his debut. That's somebody that at least ain't scared to spin it. And a lot of times when it comes to college football, you got to at least start there. The guy isn't afraid to use his God-given talents. Now we just got to craft it. But if you're not scared, we can work with that. That's always been Phil Longo's type of quarterbacks. They're not scared, let me craft it. You know what I mean? So, and that kind of brings us to the point of Landon Locke. Just don't be scared. You can't have a scared, timid guy out there. Now let me craft it. That is Landon Locke's best path to success this year. What do you all think about that? What are your thoughts on that? What are you guys' thoughts on that? We're ranking the Conference USA quarterbacks. We're getting you guys' thoughts on that, sourcing your thoughts. What do you all think? We're talking about the whole conference right now. We're not just talking about Sam Houston, talking the whole conference, because it's kind of begins to affect how I see the season for Sam Houston, because now we can look at the schedule. Now we can start to kind of look at the schedule. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. Let me send a text message. Let's see. There we go. Sorry about that. So now we can start to see. Let's take a look at the schedule here. Now that we kind of have the football schedule, now that we've ranked these quarterbacks, let's see. Well, Sam Houston, we can kind of start to see. Troy Trojans, Tulsa. Well, we can only really do the conference quarterbacks, right? Although there's a chance the Sam Houston might have the better quarterback than Texas Tech that night on September 26th. On that night on September 26th, there's a chance Sam Houston might have the best quarterback. So we got at Liberty with Ethan Vasco. They're at Liberty, but I think that's a chance at an early statement in the conference for Landon Locke. That's a Thursday night game. I think that's a chance at a good early statement for Landon Locke or Bailey, whoever they run out there. For whoever. That's if insert person here is that guy, then that's the prove it right there. Because I don't think Ethan Vasco is very good. He's weakened and down for the count, right? Then you got Western Kentucky. That's Brock Glenn, who we just don't know anything about. That's at home. You have a chance. New Mexico State at home. That quarterback's not good. You should win that. At Missouri Bears, again, at Skylar Locklear with a new coach. To me, you should be winning that game. At Jacksonville State. Now, again, Caden Creel's not that special, but you got to worry about this entire team effort. That's going to be tough. Kennesaw State, the defending champs, come in with Jerry Mack. That's going to be tough. Okay. Middle Tennessee. Now, I think Gagliano is better, but I think that just like Jacksonville State, this is going to be a function of what the rest of that team looks like. I need to be able to flesh that out and see. And then at FIU, that's going to be tough. You're going to have to beat who is the best quarterback in the conference, J.J. Cole. So very interesting as we start to kind of craft and think and see how the schedule is going to go. But if you guys have thoughts, feel free to comment, join the discourse. We'll see you guys next time. Take care. Be safe. All college football. It's good college football. Take care.